Hello, Speed Gaming, and welcome to the round of 8. Today we have a Final Fantasy Mystic Quest Randomizer. We have ipsTee versus wildham, both of them completing their original round of 16 bracket, and now in the quarterfinals. I'm Hatox, and I'm joined here today by Giga. Say hello.
Hello. How's everyone doing out there in Speed Gaming? We should have a fun match for you guys today.
This is going to be a good one. Based on what I can see here, is both of them upset the higher end of the bracket in their first round. So we're going to be treated to a really good race by these two runners. And wildham, also our main developer behind the randomizer here.
That's correct. We should be going pretty soon. Why don't we go down the list of flags?
We shall. So this is the vanilla game, except that all the quest items have been moved around and relocated. So instead of getting the axe from Kaylee, you may very well end up getting her dad's hat that you're gonna need to complete the game with. All the areas are locked with their respective coins, but there's logic. So you're not going to find the thing that you need behind the thing that you need to get it. The players will find coins progressively and be allowed into their respective areas. However, they can short circuit the logic by using the crest warps, which have not been randomized in this flag set. So all the crest warps are vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
Enemies are randomized as far as their power goes and their moveset. So enemies may have swapped skills with other enemies. Also, they might be either half as powerful or 1.5 times as much powerful as their vanilla set. Getting started here, yeah, we have the sand coin available to our runners.
And the Giant's Axe, which lets them cut down trees. Granted, every axe lets them cut down trees. It looks like their other weapon was the bung.
Okay, so with a giant axe and a bomb, our runners are going to be able to clear out a lot of things. They have an endgame weapon in the giant's axe.
Mm-hmm.
And they have bombs, which will allow them, if they want to, progress further into Bone Dungeon and not have to do a double dip.
Bombs also give them a weapon that ignores accuracy, which can be quite useful.
That is true.
There are some enemies that just really want to dodge your attacks. About the scaling, so the 150% scaling, the 1.5 times, that only applies to bosses. Regular enemies can only go up to 1.25 times stats.
I really don't know when I would like to see the enemies scale higher. I think because in the end game, it means that I can't just sweep with Phoebe's white spell, but early game it means really rough wipes to things like these salamanders and mad toads.
Well, you've just got to find something that scales low. That's unfortunate. We should explain how battlefields work as well. So, what you will get out of a battlefield depends on the color of the battlefield, because we have the battlefields randomized in our current flag set for the tournament. Blue battlefields will give you an item. It may be important, it may not. Gray battlefields will give you experience. And green battlefields will give you money. Money is necessary because there are 3 item vendors, one in Aquaria, one in Firebird, one in Windia. And each of them will have an item. And in our flag set, NPCs are prioritized, I believe. Yep, they are. So they're more likely to have an important item for progress than other locations. Battlefields are also prioritized, and that's why we saw a shield, I think.
Yep, that was a shield. And then both our runners choosing to dip out of Bone Dungeon, but picking up the heal spell and the Libra Crest. So they'll actually be able to get one more item very, very soon from using the Libra Crest to do the vanilla Wake Water check.
Mm-hmm. This is another... Oh! Exit is very important. The runners can use that not only for its vanilla use to just exit maps as quickly as possible, but on the overworld, Wildham has coded in another function where if you cast exit on the overworld, it will not consume a life charge, but it will send you all the way back to the level forest. So you can instantly get yourself out of any sockblock situations if they manage to happen, or you can just use it for routing.
Okay, so both our runners there going through Libra Temple, picking up several things. They've picked up Phoebe 1, they've picked up a Cure Spell, and their River Coin. So the River Coin will allow them access into the second area of the game, Fireberg, and the dungeons there. But I think our runners are first going to do a little bit of item getting and setting up Phoebe to become Phoebe 2.
Yes. How partners work, each partner has both a first and second set of stats they can have. We in the commentary booth, I at least, like to call them forms. You can tell which form a partner is by their level and by their health, their max health. If their max health is less than 1,000, unless it's Ruben, then they're likely in their first form. To unlock the second form for any party member, you must get their item from their vanilla item location. For Phoebe, that's in the Wintry Cave, which Wildham, I believe, has already gotten. For Ruben, it's in the mine after the gym. For Tristram, it's in the Bone Dungeon, and for Kaylee, it's on the Minotaur, though she also needs the elixir.
Yep, so our runners right now, I think our runners are actually giving each other a high five right now in the battlefield south of Wintry Cave. We had just a moment of divergence, ipsTee deciding to go through Aquaria and picking up the items in there, finding the Venus key in one of the chests. Wildham went through Wintry Cave and he got the multi-key and the mega grenades. Yep, Phoebe was holding on to the multi-key, and the mega grenades were in the back chest of the bombable wall, the first bombable wall in Wintry Cave.
We should probably go over Go mode now that it's relevant.
Alright, so for Go mode, so in this flag set, we are playing Save the Crystals. So all 4 crystals must be lit first, and then that's how you get your Sky Coin. It's kind of working backwards. The Sky Coin opens the final door in Doom Castle, letting you into Doom Castle proper, out of the basement. So you light all 4 crystals. In order to light all 4 crystals and get access, we're going to need, at some point, the Mega Grenades and the Dragon Claw. Those 2 weapons have dungeon map effects that allow you to either break things at a distance or grab onto hooks and move across the map.
Mhm.
The items that we're going to need are the Thunder Rock, the Captain's Cap, and the Mobius Crest, and possibly the Sun Crest, the Sun Coin. The Sun Coin
And
gives us access to India. That's why.
yes, and we also need a sword and I think that's it.
Yeah. Well, yes. So to clear all 4 dungeons, you need all 4 weapons because in the dungeons, all of them have different types of gimmicks. So, like say in Bone Dungeon, you need bombs to clear out the things that block your path. In the Ice Pyramid, you're going to need a sword to poke the statues to open the doors. In Lava Dome, technically you don't need it. Oh, technically you don't need anything in Lava Dome. You could actually clear. You could clear all the way to the boss without anything. But you're gonna miss out on a lot of the goodies in the Lava Dome checks.
I got you.
Oh, yep. Wildham picking up the Noble Armor and the Apollo Helm already in Fireberg, giving him some resistances. Oh, and then the last thing you're gonna need is the Dragon Claw over in Pazuzu's tower, along with an axe to flip the switches to lock the elevator of Pazuzu's elevator into place, and some form of bombs to break open the walls. Okay, we are getting our first look at the Fireberg area over on Wildham's side. We get a lot of blue battlefields, so the next set of the next 2 minutes or so are probably going to be Wildham clearing out all these battlefields with Ruben.
And ipsTee was running into a little bit of trouble there, but he managed to pull through.
Now that's an interesting play by ipsTee with the Falls Basin check. I mean, it is a fast check, but you're a little under-leveled, definitely under-equipped to take on the crab, and it's really only for 2 items.
I would argue that you're at exactly the right level if you've been in the Wintry Cave already, which he has.
Oh, true. Well, and I guess he has the Giant's Axe and the Mega Grenade, so I guess he has weapons.
Mhm.
It's just a matter of it's not the fastest clear in the world,
Right.
as far as efficiency goes and the number of checks.
ipsTee opting to take some experienced battlefields here. He hasn't seen yet that there are some item battlefields up ahead. But he does have the required weapons and the required stats to take these out, and they're a little bit quick.
They are. I would like to see him come back with Ruben though and take on this specific battlefield, because if he's in the one I think he's in, this is the one that only generates plants.
He is in that one, yes. He's just cleared it.
And Ruben's weapon is is the Morning Star, which is coded as an axe. So those plants will take double damage from it.
However, it can be faster not to take the Morning Star, because that weakness text, it adds up. It's a little bit extra time.
That it does. Wildham has cleared out the 2 battlefields, and he's picked up the Wake Water. So the Wake Water, in the vanilla game, pretty much just a story item. It advances the plot a little bit. But in the randomizer, Wake Water is what will thaw Aquaria, and it'll give you access the back of Spencer's place and to the back of Focus Tower. And with the Venus Key, Wildham is guaranteed 3 quest item checks minimum. The one in the back of Focus Tower, which is prioritized, as well as the Spencer item and the chest next to Spencer as well, that's locked by the Venus Key.
Haven't got the Dragon Claw somewhere. Which means he has access to these elevators now, which let him access the Jin boss fight and the end of the mine, like we were talking about earlier.
Oh, yes. Thanks for covering for me there. Definitely slacking on my tracking job.
I just noticed because I saw it as his weapon. Oh, I see where he got it.
Oh, out of the battlefield right outside of Fireburg.
North of the Sealed Temple. I think that's the Sealed Temple.
I believe that is the Sealed Temple, yes. That's the one with the Gemini crest that will take you to Wintry Temple.
Yes.
And there are 2 checks in Wintry Temple that are inaccessible except with the Gemini crest.
And if you really want to break logic, you can cast exit in there. But the randomizer doesn't take that into account. Not even on its hardest difficulty. Well, only on its hardest difficulty setting does it take that into account. There's the Wake Water. And ipsTee is entering the mine now. Gonna check the back 3 caves, as is standard.
ipsTee currently doing what I refer to as North Mine.
There are people who just go fight the Jin first. I'm not one of those people.
For me, I have to say it kind of depends largely on what my kit looks like. If I have the Mega Grenades,
You'll just go there.
I'm just going for the Jin because I want the 4 checks that come behind him, plus the automatic item.
Mhm.
If I'm low on if I don't have the Mega Grenades, but I am hunting items, then I'm probably gonna take North first, just to see what I can get.
Yeah, it's more like 6 checks behind there if you've got Ruben and the Mega Grenades.
Oh, right, that is correct.
Because you get 1 check from Ruben, there's 4 chests, and 1 check from Aryan, Ruben's dad. Once you go back to Fireburg, that is.
So
FC
both our
catching
runners, yep, now out on the Jin fight. Wildham not having a easy time of it with the Jin, but at least onto phase 2 now.
Mhm. Every enemy in Mystic Quest has multiple frames of, I wouldn't call it animation, but multiple frames of distress they can be in during the fight. It depends on how much of their maximum health remains and what type of enemy they are. Regular enemies will have 2 frames, and they'll switch at 50% health. Mini-boss enemies, like the Jin here, will have 3 frames, and major boss enemies will have 4 frames unless they are a bird, in which case they will have 3 frames and a special frame when they use their Sight Shield attack.
Alright, so Wildham finishing the Jin fight, not really getting rewarded for it. Only 4 boxes and a Blizzard spell. So we're gonna go check Arion next, and hopefully Arion's got something for us.
He's got the Venus Shield, which
He's
is
got
better
the
than what we
Venus
currently
Shield.
got. Venus Shield, I don't remember exactly.
I believe the Venus Shield is Paralyze.
I can find that out real quick.
I don't know if it's anything else, but I know it's at least Paralyze, because that'll help us out a little bit against the Hydra fight. Wildham trading in just Ruben 1 for Ruben 2, so now he has access to Ruben's white spell.
Mm-hmm. Getting the Gaia armor from Aryan's dad's friend, the Hermit.
That's also a nice find. Not that we're gonna find any water attacks right now, but it'll give him protection from wind spells, and when he fights the bird, as we've talked about later on, the bird is nothing but wind spells, and the Hydra is Thunder, which is also classified as a wind spell.
It is. Thunder is not a real element. Thunder is wind and water combined.
So Wildham looks like he's probably gonna he's making the Bone Dungeon play. I think what he's hoping to find here is probably a Sun Coin, which will allow him to get to Windia from this point. He does find the Life spell, one of the three main safeties that we need against the Dark King later on.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure he's hoping to find a Sun Coin, but he's doing this mainly because he has to. This is Save the Crystals, after all.
Yep.
He will eventually find a Sun Coin, I'm sure. He already has both the Sand and River coins. It can't be that far off.
And Wildham looking like he's going to Life Flamerous Rex. So Flamerous Rex being weak to the Life spell. Life is an instant kill spell if your level, the level of the person who's casting it, is higher than the level of the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And Flamerous being the only boss weak to the Life spell.
That is not true. That is not true in the slightest. The Minotaur is weak to the Life spell. The Skullrus Rex is weak to the Life spell. We won't be seeing Skullrus Rex here because we've turned off the boss rush between the Skycoin door and the Dark King. That's just part of the tournament.
I forgot about the Minotaur, honestly, being weak to the Life spell.
Yeah, it's kind of a glitch.
Yeah, Skullrus and his next floor buddy, the Golem, are normally my exit spells.
Right, they are both weak to the exit spell as well.
Mm-hmm.
And Skullrus is also weak to Petrification. That's what I use on. I just keep hitting him with the Dragon Claw until he goes down.
Yep. So exit, we've already seen its use on the field, but in a battle, you can cast exit on an enemy. It will take the enemy out of the battle, but you will not get any experience for it.
Mm-hmm. There's the Venus Shield, and whoever it was that stated that the Venus Shield only gives you paralysis protection, they were right. Oh, Excalibur on Wildham's side.
Yep, so Wildham just did the Spencer check, and he got paid off for it quite well, getting the Cupid Locket and Excalibur. And now he's in the volcano, and he just found the Gemini Crest in the front of the volcano.
That was ipsTee.
Oh, I'm sorry, that was ipsTee. Wildham's over in Aquaria right now, doing the hill checks.
He's on the entire other side of the stream. I'm sorry, I don't mean to make fun of you.
Oh no, it's okay. I'm constantly getting my left and my right confused here. If there's a third person in the broadcast booth, they'd probably be like, tapping me on the back of the head every so often. Hey, left hand, right hand.
You feeling all right? Oh, Wildham seeing the first wipe of this match. Petrification can be so mean to people. It's treated exactly the same as death, only death is caused by your health being set to 0, and petrification is not. So it can be healed by a heal potion, which removes all status effects, whereas death just can only be healed by the life spell. Life in this game works a little bit differently than how you would expect if you haven't seen Final Fantasy Mystic Quest before, though. In this game, it's a little bit bugged. It restores all of your health, removes any status effects you're afflicted by, and it does all this regardless of whether you're dead or not.
Yeah, I'd be really interesting to talk to one of the developers one day to find out what they were doing when they coded the life spell, because it works differently in battle than it does on the world map.
Yeah. On the world map, it doesn't remove any status effects.
Yep.
Partially because you can't be dead on the world map. To my knowledge.
Yep. You also can't be petrified on the world map. Petrification and sleep end at the end of the battle, along with confusion. But poison and blind will carry over.
Right. Poison and blind are the only ones that will carry over. Paralysis, which you did not mention, does not carry over either.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's all the status effects, too.
Yep, that is all status effects. Looks like ipsTee is making the Bone Dungeon play, and so Geek, I gotta ask you, why would our runners make this Bone Dungeon play instead of, like, say, just deciding to full clear Lava Dome?
Because the Bone Dungeon is so much easier to get through than the Lava Dome. It's so much lower level, and you have to basically go through the Lava Dome twice anyways. You gotta go hit the switch to open the door, and then you've gotta go through the entire second half of the Lava Dome, which you can reach so easily from the opening of the Lava Dome. It just makes sense. Wildham finding the Aegis shield.
Yep. So Aegis is the last little safety that we want against the Dark King. The Aegis shield is the single item in the game that gives you protection against the Petrify status effect.
Also finding the elixir, which if he does manage to find the Tree Wither, he'll unlock Kaylee 1 and be able to go get her through the Minotaur fight into Kaylee 2. And Kaylee 2 is my favorite party member in this game. Because she has paralysis protection, and she's not level 3. Or not paralysis, petrification protection. My bad.
I would actually like the petrification protection. I mean, I just feel like if they could just give Kaylee to like just one more spell, if they gave her the white spell, then she could be the true heroine of the game.
Yeah, but then everyone important would have the white spell. You gotta give her something Earth-related. Give her Meteor.
Okay, that's a good sell. I could take her on Meteor.
Sure, the Dark King resists it too. But, like, come on. She's from the Earth continent.
That's true. ipsTee, doing the Gemini Crash check from Seal It Over to Wintry, not getting rewarded for it, only getting the Steel Helm, I believe that was.
Yes,
but then using the exit trick to get to the back of Focus Tower, and being able to do all of the checks behind the Focus Tower. Technically out of logic, he does have the Wake Water, but he's just saving a little bit of time.
Mm-hmm. And he's not trapped here. He has a way out, even though normally he wouldn't. The randomizer lets you just go south from this current battlefield that ipsTee is in, but not back north. Gets the Gas Mask, which is one of 2 items in this game that reveal hidden enemies. In the volcano and the ice pyramid, you can see the ice pyramid happening at the moment on Wildham's side, but the enemies are invisible. It's not random encounters, it's just invisible enemies. In the ice pyramid, if you have the magic mirror, the enemies will become visible again. The Gas Mask does this for floors 2 and 3 of the volcano. There's Excalibur and the Cupid Locket.
Yeah. So Wildham showing off one of the quality of life improvements of the randomizer. We've made our hero Ben walk faster. So Ben always walks at maximum speed. But in this particular area of the dungeon, you can fall. There's no guardrails on the floor, so you can fall down to the floor below, costing you a bit of time. So you saw Wildham just now kind of just tapping the movement button to move frame by frame, pretty much to the next spot.
More tile by tile. I think it's pretty clear that Wildham is in the lead, so I swapped the audio over.
Okay.
And from chat, we have Eki MMO saying that silence hardly counts. Silence does work in this game. It has graphics, it has an effect, it simply cannot be inflicted. Not because of status of equipment that will protect you from silence. Even the weakest accessory, the charm, will protect you from silence. But because the code that inflicts silence on you is also bugged. It simply doesn't work.
So Wildham having more of a, I guess, more of a party with the ice golem than anything else. Not healing up before going into the fight, forgetting how low hit points Ben was. Spending an extra turn to have to do some lifing, but with the flare spell that hardly matters.
Yeah, with the flare spell, the ice golem just crumples like a sack of bricks. Is that... Did I use that correctly? I don't think I did.
I like to think that the ice golem more kind of melts into a gooey puddle.
Yeah. That's definitely more accurate. So Wildham now going back to the lava dome to finish up, go through the door, fight the dual-head Hydra. Oh, going to the volcano first. He must have not been here yet. So I see he's checking the...
Oh, right. Wildham didn't do the volcano. And passing up that red chest right in front. He'll probably come back for that.
Probably, yeah. He doesn't need it. He just doesn't know that. I mean, he's got every piece of armor. What could it be? It could be the Thunder Rock, it could be the Captain's Cap. It could be Mobius Crest. Those are the only things that he's really looking for. But unfortunately, it's Gemini Crest.
Yep, so he's gonna take that over to Wintry Temple and be disappointed.
So deeply disappointed.
But it's okay because now he is where our runners will most likely meet up again.
That is if ipsTee can manage to catch up. ipsTee's gonna need to up his menuing quite a bit, his menu speed. He's going through the dialogue boxes fast. Probably about as fast as you can, but he's taking a while just in other menus. And that's probably going to be the deciding factor in this race. How fast you get through not just the areas, but your menus, how fast you can make those decisions, how well you have the menus memorized.
I agree. The menuing is generally where I also lose a little bit of time, which is why I like I like to see a blue battlefield that's like 3 or 4 right around now, because I can sit down and I can think about what my next set of moves are gonna be. Meanwhile, I'm just blindly hitting the button to advance all of the text box and attack moves.
This is about the time where our runners will meet up. ipsTee has his door open, Wildham just opened his door, and ipsTee is now a few steps in front of Wildham.
They're literally on the same enemy fight right now.
They are.
Wildham gonna take the lead because he didn't have to deal with a bird.
That darn RNG. Nobody bothering to check the northern chest. They probably think, he's probably right about this point too. Not even bothering with weaknesses, as you shouldn't. Unless the enemies don't actually die.
I'd actually like to see how many flare spell or how many seeds they're bringing with them into the lava dome, because normally at this point, even with flare and resistances, I'd still just be sending it if I had seeds.
I think I saw Wildham grab something like 16 seeds? No.
Okay.
9. They're $50 pop. I think he grabbed 12.
Okay. Yeah, Wildham just menued. He has plenty.
Seeds, if you're not aware, restore all of your magic charges. Each spell costs 1 magic charge of its tier to cast.
And you get 1 magic charge for wizard spells, which is what White and Flare are, every 4 levels for your main character. So the big level thresholds generally tend to be 16 and 20.
And ipsTee just found the white spell. And Meteor.
White and Meteor back to back, literally.
Wildham is about to find them both as well.
Yep, so that'll make taking down our Hydra friend significantly easier.
The dual-head Hydra does resist fire, which Flare is a fire spell in this game. It's normally non-elemental in other Final Fantasy games, but this isn't a Final Fantasy game. Don't kid yourself. This is a Saga game. This game uses the same graphics as Romancing Saga 3 on the Game Boy, also known as Final Fantasy Legend 3. It has the same artist, all that. It is a Saga game. I believe in the Nintendo Direct that aired today, there was a Saga game teased, but that's a bit outside the scope of our commentary right now. ipsTee using Meteor on the Hydra.
As he should.
As he should. The Hydra is not resistant to Meteor, not resistant to Earth Element attacks, that is. And Meteor is stronger than White. I believe...
Wildham. Wildham. Use the Meteor spell.
Oh, Ham. Let me find out exactly how much stronger it is.
Alright, Geeka's gonna do some math for us, but in the meantime, the Hydra is basically two separate fights. In the front end of the fight, the first 50% or so, you're gonna see a lot of breath attacks. You're gonna see a lot of area of effect, paralyzed breath, poison breath, fire breath. Once the first head goes down and we kind of move into that stand-up phase between the second and the third phases, we move from the area of effect spells to the single target but heavy hitting damage dealing attacks. That's where we get to see Thunder, that's where we get to see Scrunch, and we get to see Stone Gas.
And here's something. Here it is. The base damage for Meteor is 1,530, and the base damage for White is 1,260.
So that might not sound that probably doesn't sound like a lot to our chat to some of our chat people, but you cast that spell enough times, and that's like if you cast Meteor like 4 times, that's basically like a free White spell right there.
Pretty much. Of course, your actual magic stat is added onto this. I think it gets multiplied by 9? I'm not sure. Either way, it looks like Wildham is a little bit in the lead now. But they're both going to be looking for both the Mobius Crest and Sun Coin.
Yeah, we still don't have a way to get to the Wind Continent. We've already seen Falls Basin and the Crab check, so I think ipsTee now doing the Medusa check behind Volcano, and wouldn't that be a blast if the Medusa had our Sun Coin?
Oh, it would. You know what would be better? Squidite.
That's right. I think both our runners passed on Wintry Cave as well.
They did. They both faded it. Which, if you're not familiar with the term, fading a check means you're just ignoring it. You're leaving it behind.
Well, we're gonna get to see. Well, one of our runners is gonna get paid out right now because ipsTee is taking on the Medusa. Wildham is going into Wintry Cave, probably to do the rear checks as well as taking on Squidite since he's here.
Mm-hmm. This is the gamble. There's a red chest. What's inside? Is it the magic mirror? Let it be the magic mirror. That'd be so funny.
I want to see the tree wither. Show me the tree wither.
Oh, it's the Sun Coin!
Getting the Sun Coin.
But Ham's gonna continue diving Wintry Cave because he could find the Mobius Crest in here too.
You know,
there's another red chest. It's Thunder. Oh, nobody likes Thunder.
Nobody likes Thunder, but checking the rest of Aquaria made sense just because we haven't seen a lot of items come out of Ice Pyramid.
No, we haven't.
Yeah, and Aquaria being one of the more item dense checks. In the randomizer, every area pretty much has an equal amount-ish amount of quest items that'll be there. Not completely evenly distributed, but close. So if you feel like you're getting very few items out of one of the dungeons, it could just be that they're gonna be superly loaded in the next one that you find.
It's probably that there's just a roughly equal amount of chests in every area. A roughly equal amount of checks, rather, not chests. Because in the vanilla game, everywhere had to have roughly the same amount of stuff. Everywhere had a coin, everywhere had at least 1 or 2 weapons.
Yep. And just to get really technical and kind of geeky here for a bit, Wildham did note earlier that the filling method is a forward fill, but that there is logic so that the Windia area isn't completely empty. So it does sort of limit the amount of items that can be found, like say in Foresta.
Do you know how forage fill works?
Not completely, but I do believe that it starts pretty much. I believe it sounds like it works from the beginning and goes, quote, forward.
Ah, that makes sense. To me, at least.
But I mean, there's a lot of other things that are involved too in the filling sequence, because they have to fill all the NPCs first as well, and the 5 item battlefields.
There's the sun coin for ipsTee. He might be kicking himself because he came here second.
So while I'm doing all of the easy giant tree checks, so all of the alive forest checks and their crest warps, the first floor of the giant tree that doesn't require any dragon clawing or mega grenading.
He does have the dragon claw. Nothing's stopping him from doing the dragon claw.
He is, and he's climbing, so we might get to see a giant tree climb right now.
We do have another gamble going on here. ipsTee going to the Squidite. Gonna fight him, gonna take him down very easily, because he's so much higher level than he's supposed to be to fight the Squidite. But given that we're seeing even more red chests on Wildham's side, this might be the wrong play.
And birds continuing to be jerks in this game. Just the placement of that bird enemy right there, keeping ipsTee from jumping over the brown chest and being able to ascend straight to the Squidite.
Aren't birds jerks in every game?
This game, I think the birds get an 11 out of 10 on the scale.
Yeah, because pretty much half, if not more, of the birds can petrify you.
Right, I mean, like, just name a bird enemy in this game and I'll tell you why it's uncool.
The rock.
Let's see, which one is the rock?
Rocks are from the Bone Dungeon. They're the purple-winged ones.
Oh. They're probably the nicest of the bunch. But can they blind you or can they not blind you?
I don't recall. I can find out.
Yep. Wildham, still going through the rest of Giant Tree, finding a Knight Sword.
They can blind you.
They can blind you. So in the beginning of the game, right, that's when you can't deal with status effects, that's what you really want to see. You want to see blind on your character. Because Tristan already, like, misses, like, 50% of his attacks. Blinding is just icing on the cake.
We see ipsTee checking the rope bridge. Normally in the rope bridge, these would just have been brown chests. Nobody would ever go down these vines in rope bridge in vanilla. The goal is to just leave as soon as possible. Here, it's important. You have to check those 2 chests because they could be red. They could be something important.
I have to say though, I think if I'm 1 from go, then rope bridge is probably the checks that I hit up on the way back from Pazuzu's tower. Like in this particular case, like with ipsTee and even with Wildham, if I'm 1 from go, I'm climbing the tower. I'm gonna hope to find what I can in the tower. If not, I'll clear it, light the crystal, and then hit these checks going backwards.
Does ipsTee have the elixir? I have to assume he does.
Yeah, both of them got their elixirs.
Because I missed it. He just got the tree wither. I'm checking, what is this, the Light Temple?
That was
Cage Temple.
Cage. Yep.
It would have led to the Light Temple if he took the warp, I believe.
Right.
Ip's getting the Charm Claw, which isn't exactly an upgrade, but it can be faster in some situations by a frame-ish per time you use the claw. And Ip now has, again, in my opinion, the best party member in the game. Do you remember where the Thunder Rock was?
No, I don't actually, and that's why I was wondering where. I was kind of confused, like why Wildham didn't talk to Otto there, and then I saw that I hadn't lit up the Thunder Rock, but we have Chat here. Chat being a really great friend of the stream. Chat, do you remember where Thunder Rock was?
Well, we can confirm that ipsTee does actually have the Thunder Rock.
Yes, we can, because that's talking to Otto to light up the bridge.
So where has ipsTee been that Wildham hasn't? He went to Squidite.
Falls Basin.
Falls Basin. Thank you, chat.
Thank you very much, chat.
But didn't Ham go to the Falls Basin? He must not have. No, he did. I saw him at Falls Basin.
I thought he went to Falls Basin too.
Then why doesn't he have the Thunder Rock? Why didn't he talk to Otto? Maybe I'm misremembering things. My memory isn't the most reliable. ipsTee clearly on team save Nora.
ipsTee donating those 10 precious seconds there to save Norma.
Ah, it was in the chest under the snow crab. Ham must not have fought the crab.
Okay, that makes sense because I remember talking with you about how ipsTee was doing a little bit of a struggle with the crab initially.
Yeah. Sorry, we're apparently unreliable narrators. Chat also saying that Ham does have the tree with it.
Oh yeah. Yep. Ham does in fact have the tree, whether it's just my mouse is not clicking the way I'd like it to.
It's okay, I always get between the buttons here on the tracker too. Ah, not the crab chest, the chest behind the waterfall. Thank you again, and sorry for the misunderstanding. There's the Mobius crest. Ham now clearly closer to go mode than ipsTee is. All Ham needs now is the Thunder Rock and the Captain's Cap.
Yup, we still need our Captain's Cap. If we don't find it in Pazuzu's tower, there's basically, I think, 2 places we haven't seen now.
Where would those 2 places be?
That would be Mount Gale and the ship. So there's 3 checks in Mount Gale, the 2 on the path to Dullahan, and then the 3rd check is what used to be the Apollo Helm check. We've moved the Apollo Helm to being under Dullahan, so you have to fight Dullahan for that 3rd check. And then, because we have the Mega Grenades, well, ipsTee has the Thunder Rock, they can free the ship, and because the captain's cap is the only function of the cap is to let you steer the ship to Doom Castle basement, the cap can actually be hiding somewhere in the ship.
That is correct. Mac will not give you control over the ship until you give him his cap. I believe this is the last fiend for both runners.
Yes, both of them on their last of the fiends, so they'll be getting their sky coin after this fight.
Why don't we talk about Psych Shield a little bit more?
Okay, yeah, definitely. So Psych Shield. So let's see where to start. So the Pazuzu fight starts on a script. You'll fight Pazuzu for 4 turns normally, and you'll just want to unload on him, because on the 5th turn, Pazuzu's speed will drop to 0, thus allowing both your characters to go first. And then he'll activate the Psych Shield. What the Psych Shield do is it will drain, I believe it's about 2% of his hit points. I know his hit points go down. And in return, he gets magical reflection. So any spell that your characters cast on him will be reflected back. And it takes into effect the damage multiplier from arrow. So Pazuzu's a bird, he's weak to arrow, but if you cast it on him while Psych Shield is active, the multiplier activates first, and then Pazuzu will send it back at your characters for double, of course, the damage. So at that point, with Psych Shield on, it'll go on and off every other turn. So it'll go on, Pazuzu will do his thing, and then it'll come off. And so you basically need to time your attacks so that you're always hitting Pazuzu with a magic spell while the Psych Shield is either off or coming off. But the way it works is that it'll never go on prior to an attack. So because the Psych Shield will always be activated at the end of a turn.
ipsTee has defeated his final fiend, now has the Sky Coin, and got the Mobius crest somewhere. I didn't see it, but appears to have forgotten about the ship.
Yeah. Mobius crest was on the tower descend.
Ah, that'd be why I missed it.
So when we talk about the tower, basically you have to go up Pazuzu's tower, and I believe the artwork makes it look like you're climbing it from the outside. On the 7th floor, you go into the tower, and then you can go down the tower internally through the staircases.
Yeah, I think I was just focused on something else while that was happening. So now ipsTee is making the bold claim that that the captain's cap must be on the captain's ship. I believe he has been mostly everywhere else except for Mount Gale. Now, there are 2 other enemies in this game who have magic reflection. They are the Black Ooze and the Beholder, which ipsTee just took the time to defeat with physical weapons rather than spells. The Eye with Tentacles.
Yeah. So what I like to do is I like to test that enemy formation early. If I see that enemy formation, I'll just have Phoebe unload a white spell. I'll eat the reflection, and at that point, I'll know whether or not the white spell can kill both at the same time or not. because it's a lot easier to just fight the Beholder alone. All right, there we go. There's the cap in the ship. And at 57 minutes, we have go mode.
ipsTee now sprinting to the finish. Straight to the Sky Coin door. Gonna bash his knee straight through it. And walk straight up to that statue, get his full heal. And challenge the Dark King. Level 19 is a pretty safe level to do it at, too. 20 even more so.
20 is even better, because now we have that extra wizard magic charge.
And just that tiny extra bit of health to keep ourselves alive when we face, I believe it's Spider Kids?
Oh yeah, you know what? That's Spider Kid defense right there.
All he's missing, I believe, is the Aegis Shield.
Did he not get his Aegis Shield from...
I don't think he's going to
wherever it
open up
was?
the armor menu to let us know.
No, I don't think he is either. It's really unkind of him. You would think that he could slow himself down, by about 5 seconds and just, quickly show us that armor menu.
Give the trackers a bit of slack. We joke. We kid. We can find out whether he has the Aegis Shield by seeing whether he ever gets petrified.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking, if we just wait a little while, eventually we'll know, and then we'll turn it on.
Yeah. 25 seeds, the prize that everyone takes for the end of the game. It's not explicitly necessary, but it's also seeds. You always take seeds when you can get them. The only consumable item I think most people don't want to see is a refresher. Because the only thing refreshers do is remove your debuffs. And while that can be a very useful thing to do, at times when the Dark King is much stronger than you, much stronger than vanilla, he's not going to be that way here. I'm sorry. Also, if you're wondering about the cure glitch, we patched that out. That's one of the major glitches that we as a community have decided, nuh-uh, we're not doing it. We want the Dark King fight to be a fight, and not just click cure a few times.
Yep, and when you go in here at level 20, the Dark King, and especially if the Dark King decides to roll high on the randomizer, this is a fight. You will earn your victory at the end.
That is right.
So starting from phase 2, Dark King does have a one-hit kill attack on at least your lower leveled party member. Dark Saber will do about 900 hit points worth of damage.
I can check that.
Which is enough to knock Ben out of the fight and take Phoebe down to some dangerous levels.
Dark Saber.
So it does pay to keep your hit points topped up in this fight.
115 times 8, which is 920, minus your defense. This isn't coming from a spreadsheet, by the way. I have this in a RPG Maker project.
Oh, nice. So when do we get Giga's Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, the sequel?
We don't. Also, it's stuck in Firebird. I don't know what to write for Ruben. ipsTee entering the third phase of the Dark King.
So, if you thought the first two phases were really easy, the third phase is where the fight starts to go backwards. Dark King completely changing out his moveset in the third phase. Gold Web and Silver Web do status effects along with damage when it doesn't petrify you.
The Silver Web does poison and confusion at the very least, and Gold Web petrifies you.
Yep. And then we have Mega White, Mega Flare. So Mega White is non-elemental damage to both characters. Flare is fire elemental damage to one character. And then we just saw Spider Kids, which is a physical attack, I believe, but dealing north of 800 damage unless you're well kitted out, and then it deals about 790.
So I should note, every attack the Dark King uses is a physical attack. It's also a flat damage attack. They do not function off of the Dark King's stats in any way, shape, or form. All they do is subtract your defense value from it and multiply a certain value by 8 to get their base damage value. There's the Thunder Rock on Wildham's side.
Yep. So that is the waterfall check or the internal cave inside of Falls Basin right there.
Yep, behind the frozen waterfall, like chat said earlier.
Yep.
ipsTee still pretty clearly and safely in the lead. Taking things very safe against Dark King right now. He does not feel challenged in the slightest.
Yep.
He knows that he got everything very quickly.
And you know what? We're gonna go ahead and give ipsTee his Aegis Shield because I just saw a Golden Web pop down on Ben, and Ben very much alive and kicking.
That was my bad. I'm supposed to be tracking ipsTee. But I've got all this stuff open on my other monitor. I'm not paying attention.
Now we'll just blame it on a misclick.
Okay.
These buttons are so close to each other that, you know, like you click on Aegis and you think you got it.
That was a very thin Dark King.
That was about as vanilla as it gets. ipsTee coming in with an official race time of 1:04:39.
And we're gonna see if Wildham can finish his race out. And if ipsTee can come in to the booth for an interview or something.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello, GG is ipsTee.
Yeah, thanks. GG. To Wildham too.
How'd you like the seed in general?
I don't know yet. I must say it was kind of nice actually. So, I mean, Captain Set at the end, having everything and looking for Captain Set feels a bit bad, but it was at a pretty straight location at the chip. And yeah, I already checked a lot of things already always in between. I threw in a lot of the minor dungeons because it gave you only a couple of things at a time, so you always were on the lookout for progression items anyways. So when I ended up beating Pazuzu, I already had checked every minor dungeon besides Tree and Dullahan. So I just said to myself, well, chances are pretty high it is on a chip, and you waste a ton of time if it is on a chip and you go to the Tree and to Dullahan first. So I just went there, and since we had exit pretty early in the run, the time loss of doing the ship and not finding it isn't actually that big. And otherwise, as I said, it was pretty straightforward in my opinion, because it gave you only the progression one or two items at a time. And yeah, there were a couple of interesting choices. I think Wildham didn't go for early crab and therefore lost a lot of time looking for the Thunder Rock. I
That's
felt,
correct.
yeah, he already told me in the race chat, and I felt like, yeah, we didn't have basically anything going on at this point. We found the sand coin directly at the start. Then in Aquaria, we only found the river coin. We didn't have a claw at that point, I think, and we had bombs, but not much else going on. So I thought, but we had the Titan's Axe. So I thought, yeah, crab fight with Titan's Axe is usually pretty free, and might as well go for it when I'm around there.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it wasn't that bad of a seed, actually, and I'm pretty happy with my routing.
That was an interesting decision that you made. Can you talk to us more about the decision to skip Giant Tree and the Alive Forest?
Ooh. I think Giant Tree, even though if you have exit, is a pretty big time commitment. So, in my opinion, you better have a pretty good reason to go for it. When we finally reached Vinya, I think I was missing 2 items, Mobius Crest and Captain's Hat. And yeah, the first place to go for me is always Pazuzu's Tower when we get to India and have the Dragon Claw, obviously. So in every case, you go Pazuzu's Tower first before even thinking about Tree and the Life Force. Might as well take a short dip into a Life Force, but even that is a pretty big time commitment, and we didn't have Mobius Crest, which was in Pazuzu's Tower. So you miss out the check at the start with the 2 chests there already, and the rest is pretty far pretty far into the forest where you have to cut a lot of trees. That costs a lot of time. So Pazuzu's Tower is always a better play over a Life Forest and the tree if you have the Dragon Claw already. That is, if you are looking for progression and don't have the Dragon Claw and feel like you have done a lot already, then going into the Alive Forest obviously is a much better choice. But in that case, Pazuzu's Tower was definitely the only play possible in my opinion at that point.
Nice. Well said. Well said.
Yeah. Other than routing, I think, yeah, I'm not totally happy with with my gameplay today. I think my fights were a bit floppy, so I'm kind of got carried through with a bit more luck at the routing, I would say. I hope to be a bit more sharp in the next races.
I'm not sure how you could be much more sharp.
Yeah, there was a lot of floppiness with infights, with map movement. Missing exit. I totally forgot in the first 2 dungeons, or going out of Wintry Cave. I think I forgot that I have exit going out of Fall Basin. I forgot that I have exit in bombs. Yeah, things like that, which are an indicator that it wasn't the best races. On that regard, I think my route was pretty good. That carried me through today. I don't know if we get wildham. I would like to say to hear a bit more what he has to say about this route, because apparently he did a few things differently than me.
He did, but he hasn't forfeited the race quite yet.
Ah, yeah, okay.
Yeah. We're just letting the delay play out right now.
I see. Yeah.
Well, there is one thing that I'm gonna ask both you and Wildham. I guess we'll get your perspective on it first. This was during the time where you could have done Lava Dome. You had finished up all of the Fireberg area. Nothing was showing up, and instead of going to Lava Dome, both of you went back to Aquaria and chose to clear the pyramid.
Yeah. I even dipped into Lava Dome and went all the way to the switch.
The switch. Yeah, we saw you open the door.
Yeah. So I was like, I kind of want to do Lava Dome now, but my dual head Hydra fight looked terrible. So I was like, okay, you do the first half of Lava Dome, and if you find a spell that deals damage to Hydra, so White or Meteor, then you go for it. Otherwise, I go for the easier route and look if I can find anything in Aquaria that makes the Hydra fight a bit easier. And yeah, that was the reasoning for me, at least. Since you have to exit out of Lava Dome anyways when you are sitting on the switch, it's not that big of a time loss going to Aquaria after that.
I was saying something pretty similar to Hatax when that happened in the race. He asked why someone might choose to leave the Lava Dome, go straight to Bone Dungeon. And I just said, it's a lot easier.
Yeah. The dual head Hydra fight can be quite a pain if it rolls for high HP and you don't have a nuke spell on Benjamin. So, and we didn't even have Phoebe 2 for that. If you have Phoebe 2, she deals like about 600 damage more per white spell than Ruben 2. So if you have her with you, then it becomes a bit more appealing to go for it anyways. But since we already only had Ruben 2 for the dual head Hydra fight, it was for me not the most attractive play to go into the Lava Dome right away, and then that's also a thing where that's the one thing where I'm not too happy with my routing, that I went for Bone Dungeon before Aquaria. I would have, in retro perspective, I would have liked to go to Ice Pyramid first and then go Bone Dungeon. I think that would have been a bit more efficient route.
I foresee terrible things happening on Ham's screen.
Yeah. That's not a position where you definitely not want to have, really, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, that could have been like a cross life spell.
Okay, but he gets out of it.
He does save it.
Yeah,
he does save it.
Yep. Out of it, and now he's stabilized again, so it should be fine from here on.
Oh.
He goes for double attack. I'm not a big fan of these double attack plays, but it doesn't matter in that case. If Phoebe gets better fight, it doesn't matter.
And there he goes.
Ooh, and okay, that's where
the petrification laser. Yeah, you can. Against that, you can. Yeah. And forfeit.
Ham knew at this point that the race had already ended.
It's no fun
Hello, Ham.
spending another 5 minutes or 6 minutes fighting ducking again if you already lost. I can totally understand that.
GG to both of you.
And GG to wildham again. GG wildham.
Yeah, GG.
Hatax, you had some questions.
Oh yeah, okay. So wildham, we've been getting this question kind of warmed up here in the booth for a little while. Both of you pretty much followed the same path like the entire time, with the one exception of the Thunder Rock play. But the question I had for both of you was, you're both in you're both in the Fireberg area. You're both set up to clear Lava Dome, and then just we dip out. We're out of Lava Dome, we're out of Fireberg, and instead we go for the Pyramid and Bone Dungeon. Can you tell us a little bit about your thinking behind that?
I think by that point we had the Whitewater, so yeah, you could clear Lava Dome, but then you can do Whitewater, which is 3-check. With the Vinuski, and then Yondaria, you have Ribbon, so you can go ahead and do Ice Pyramid at the same time.
You did have Wakewater at that time.
Yep, you did. And then on your way to Windia, so this is where we had our most divergence actually. You went to a live forest and a giant tree, and T went straight on to the tower.
Yeah, well, at that point, I was missing the Thunder Rock, the Captain Caps, and the Modus Crest. So I'm checking the forest anyway itself. So I feel Giant Tree isn't that long to do. So that felt like the right gamble, and I was feeling a bit behind at that point. But yeah, it didn't pay off in the end. But yeah, I felt that I had a good, with 3 key items missing, I had a good chance to find something there, so I went for it.
No, I hear that completely. I would have gotten crushed in this seed because I literally last location Falls Basin every time.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just the crab can be quite nasty, so yeah, I was a bit reluctant to check it early, and it's only to check in the end. So and then when you're still looking, I was kind of committed to not check Fall Basin, but that wasn't it.
Yeah, it's always kind of dicey to go prep. I think it definitely depends on what you get or what you have going for you at this point. If you have other attractive checks already in position at that point, so for example, if you had the claw, going for the gin would have been much more attractive than going for the crab. I think it was a very specific situation that led for me doing it, but I can totally see why you want to skip it.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it hurts a bit, but that's racing the rando, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One interesting bit of trivia is that you did treat our chat to a show. They got to see 15 of the 16 bosses in the game.
Oh, which one did we not do? Dallahan, probably.
We just didn't get to see Ghidra.
Oh, Ghidra. Yeah, right. Ghidra is always. Oh, you did even do Dallahan, yeah?
Yeah, I did.
Oh my.
Oh my. I did everything.
Yeah. Ghidra has the advantage in this flag set that we can already check if he has an item or not. So most of the time you don't need to do him.
I've got a question for you too. In the lava dome on the second check, or the second time through rather, you had both gotten there at the exact same time. What was going through your heads right then?
Oh, not a lot actually. I wasn't at that point too happy with my execution, but I thought the route went pretty okay-ish. I was still thinking that I'm definitely in the race, because as I said, the route worked out kinda okay-ish at that point, and I was just wondering, where is the progression now? Where is the item that leads us to Windia? And since it's simple logic, it kind of had to be the Sun Coin anyways. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was I just was wondering, what do I do if I don't find the Sun Coin in the Lava Dome? What do we do afterwards to check for it?
Ham?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. Lava Dome went pretty well, and it was the next big check to do. So, and yeah, having Ruben 2 means that you're not really scared of Hydra that much.
Well, I don't like Hydra with Room 2 actually. So I was kind of you have to do this fight with Room, and I really don't like to do Lava Dome with Room, because there's a high chance of having to two-shot most packs. So I was kind of you have to do that now, but in the end both of us have to do it, so it's just it's no advantage, it's just not feeling very comfortable with that.
Well, Vanilla Hydra is balanced around Ruben 1.
Yes.
Yes.
So wouldn't Ruben 2 be kind of expected to work at least?
It works. It works. It's just not a nice fight because you don't. It's definitely working, but the Hydra we fight is a bit stronger than the vanilla Hydra, and it gets usually a bit more damage too. And what I don't like about the fight with Room 2 is that Room 2 doesn't have an AoE heal. So it's not even about the damage, it's about the lack of AoE heal, because Hydra in the first two phases, deals AoE damage most of the time. So having that on Phoebe 2 is much more smoothly for the fights than when you have to single target your heals all the time.
So it's just about sustain rather than damage.
Yeah, it's definitely about the sustain. You just use up more turns healing because you have to single target it all the time.
Right. What do you think about Ruben 2 in the Hydra fight, Ham?
Well, in this case, it went fine. I mean, like I said, like T said, you know, you like a bit of the utility of Phoebe there, but especially in this case, he wasn't too chunky, so it wasn't anything as much. And no, I felt I had a good fight with Hydra and against Hydra this time. So, but yeah, sometimes things can go south.
All right, that's probably all the time we should take up for the moment. Thank you again, Speedgaming, for... Actually, let's check chat. Does chat have... Doesn't look like it. Thank you, Speedgaming, for hosting us here. And thank you, Ham. Thank you, ipsTee, for racing for us. When can we expect the next race to be going on?
It will be on Saturday, and for Americans it will be in the morning. For Europeans it will be in the early afternoon. I think it's 8 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time.
Yeah, that's it.
Is that for you two, or just the next race in the tournament?
That's for us. I don't know when the next race is. Actually,
yeah, there should be, I think, Shenanigan versus Farfaloo should happen tomorrow evening.
That's
so that's a big one to check out.
Definitely.
I believe it'll be happening at 6:40 p.m. my time. That's Eastern.
And and we got another one tomorrow too.
At 8:10, apparently. Hebbings and Freddy N3K.
Yeah, those are pretty cool matches tomorrow, definitely.
So if any of you are interested in any of those, you can join our Discord and get live updates on when those are happening. Do we have a link to our Discord that we can put in the chat? Where did chat go? Here's chat. I'm sure we do. We find not just chat, but here we are. Copy link. Put it in chat. All right. Hatax, anything else you want to say?
No, not at all. It was a great being in the comms booth with you. Thank you very much for carrying me today, Giga.
I don't think I did quite that well. But you're welcome anyways. Thank you for the sentiment.
Thanks for commentating, thanks for organizing at the tourney crew, thanks for hosting us, Speedgaming. And yeah, have a nice evening, all of you. Bye-bye.
Have a good one.